Welcome back into the Sports Source, this segment of our program brought to you by Madisonville Marine. No matter what kind of boat you're looking for, Madisonville Marine has got it. They've got fishing boats, deck boats, pontoon boats. They've got every make and model. They've got new and pre-owned boats. This is the place to check. All the way back to 1976 when they first opened, nobody carries more lines and models of boats than Madisonville Marine. Look, like everybody else, they're fighting the transportation issues in this country. So when you're there looking for a boat, they may have to order your boat, but by gosh, you can still do one-stop shopping right there that you can't do elsewhere because they can get their hands on more different types of boats than anybody else. That's why I've always said there's no better place to buy a boat, Madisonville Marine. All right, let's take a look at this list. I mentioned this earlier to you guys. There's how the SEC's quarterbacks rank according to ESPN. Bryce Young, number 2 in the country, from Alabama, of course. Will Rogers, the second-rated SEC quarterback on their list from Mississippi State, put up huge numbers last year. Arkansas's K.J. Jefferson is number 32. Kentucky's Will Levis, 33. Stetson Bennett, number 44. He does have a national championship under his belt. He came in at 44 there. Hendon Hooker finally at 49. Spencer Rattler transferring in from Oklahoma to South Carolina is number 78. Anthony Richardson, if he finally becomes the starter people expected him to become, well, he's number 93 on their list. My question, and we'll just throw it out there to Daniel first. Did Hendon Hooker get shortchanged, or do you put him in the same? You put him in a bunch with some of those guys? I mean, K.J. Jefferson, Will Levis, their numbers are similar to Hooker in terms of overall. So did Hooker get shortchanged here, or you're fair with this?
I'm actually pretty fair with this one. I think when you look at his career body of work, he was at Virginia Tech for a while and wasn't this good. I think for our system, he's a lot better than that list. But judging off of UT 1 year, Virginia Tech 1 year, I think you have to put him that low.
All right. What do you guys think?
I'm going to defer to the quarterback.
Is he shortchanged, or should he be higher on that list?
What I would say is this: those guys are fact finders. So you got a guy that one guy was up for the Heisman, another guy that won a national championship, other guy was probably got more games that looked prettier with the yards that came with it. But as far as the guy's more impactful for his team, I don't think it's more a guy that's bigger than Hendon Hooker than he is for the University of Tennessee. And so that gives me more motivation. If I were him, first of all, it's a pleasure, a privilege to be on the top 100. That's a privilege.
Yeah, top 50 player. Yeah.
I mean, that's a privilege. But now he's got that moxie to want to just show him who he really is. I mean, no one talked about Bryce Young last year this time. I'm just saying.
Well, they hadn't seen him yet, but there was a lot of hype.
It was a lot of hype, but he wasn't on the top 100.
Yeah. Marlon.
In my opinion, I've got to go the same with Daniel Hood. I think those guys that was on that list, you had a full season with them, whereas Hendon kind of took over that Pitt game midway through. So I think a lot of the voters are kind of looking at probably give me a full season and then let me check you out. And then a lot of this, and I'm going to say this, and some people ain't going to like it, but I felt like last season there was a lot of plays where it's probably 3rd and 6, 3rd and 5, 3rd and 8, and we're taking off running with the ball as opposed to trying to hit the open guy in the cover. So for me, I want to see more of, can we get off the field? I mean, can we stay on the field on 3rd downs? And then also decision-making from Hendon. I would like to see that be more impressive or a little bit more strategic than running with the ball on 3rd and 6.
Right. I agree with that, and I think what's more important than where you start is where you're going to finish. Right. I don't think Hendon Hooker finishes 49
Not
this
49.
year.
And just think about it. This whole offense is built on continuity. Mm-hmm. So now he's got more time with his guys, and he'll have more things happen that'll be more innate and natural on the field that's going to help the team get those first downs that we didn't get last year.
That's it.
Let me go ahead and put up the actual numbers for those quarterbacks. I expected a little bit more pushback from you guys. The numbers, as you see there, Bryce Young, 4,800 yards and 50 touchdowns. Of course, he is at Alabama. Will Rogers, 4,600 yards, 36 touchdowns. Then Hendon Hooker, 3,500 yards and 36 touchdowns. You would look at Will Rogers, and I can hear people right now saying, well, he's just in Mike Leach's system. Well, yeah, but Hendon Hooker's in Josh Heupel's system. So both of those, you could make a case, are aided by the system they're in. K.J. Jefferson, I mean, look, Hooker, Jefferson, and Levis are all pretty similar. Bennett's numbers are similar, but he played an extra game. Spencer Rattler and Anthony Richardson down there didn't have complete seasons. Anyway, just thought that was interesting that the ESPN guys looked at Hendon Hooker, said 49. I thought that was a little low when I saw the numbers, especially when I looked at all these other quarterbacks ahead of him. Then when you step back and look at the numbers, because look, I cover Tennessee. Most fans out there, you know that Will Rogers had a good year, but you didn't watch Will Rogers as closely as you did Hendon Hooker. So when I went back in and looked at those numbers, I'm like, I didn't realize KJ Jefferson had that kind of a statistical year. I can see why a bunch of guys going through a list trying to rank 100 players, which is silly to begin with, I could see where they would say, all right, 3,700 yards here, 3,600 yards here. So it made a little more sense when I saw it than it did when I first looked at it and thought, why is he behind all these guys? It's like, oh, okay.
See, I would say, like, with a guy like KJ Jeffries from Arkansas, I think it's big moments, big games, right? KJ Jefferson at Arkansas, they did a great thing last year, defeating Texas and a couple other big games. I think that's what Hooker's missing. Is now, what is your big win? Can you take over a game? And then now you'll see that guy start to climb up that list. Like they said, you won't finish at 49.
Exactly.
But I think we got some question marks he's got to answer in order for
And he
people
will.
to put him up there.
Well, I think a lot of fans are looking at the Pitt game, the Florida game. Let Hendon Hooker and Tennessee win those games.
Exactly.
There you go. Yeah. Now his talk is. Now he's starting to get mentioned on the dark side of the dark horse lists for the Heisman. If they come out of that opening month undefeated.
Yeah.
All right, very good. When we come back, you guys stay where you are because we're going to talk about smoky gray uniforms. Tennessee's bringing them back. I want to get these guys' take. And for that matter, Tennessee looks like they're going to stick with smoky gray for the next few years. Should they just open it up? At this point, if you're going to wear alternate uniforms, should they throw in black and red, white, and blue, and purple, and chartreuse, and everything else? Let's debate it. Come on back on the Sports Source.